Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining our latest Thomas Expert series. We're going to get started in just a minute. I want to see where everyone is tuning in from today. I've got Maine, boiling hot, Florida and New Jersey, South Jersey. Let's see where we got.
At one point in time, he was getting
North Carolina, Virginia. Alrighty, we've got West Virginia, Oregon, South Carolina, also hot. Vancouver. Great. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to hand it over to Kelly here to talk about increasing efficiency with automated Magbead extraction.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen so that way you guys can see my presentation here and put that in the correct. Stop the slide.
Hi, Kelly. This is Kat. I don't know if you remember me from Gilson.
Hey, Kat. I saw the name. I was wondering if that was you.
It's me. How you doing?
Nice seeing you again.
You too.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll leave Heather to continuing to let people in as they join us. So hello, everyone. My name is Kelly White. I'm an application specialist here at Gilson Incorporated. Thank you for your interest today in our Thomas Expert Series discussion on how to increase efficiency with automated Magbead extraction. During our online discussion, we'll look at the magnetic bead extraction and the potential benefits of switching to an automated workflow. In today's presentation, we'll look at the magnetic bead extraction and some of the pain points with the manual process and how switching to an automatic solution could benefit the lab. So let us discuss the most common challenges facing technicians and labs using manual magnetic bead extraction. Manual extraction using magnetic beads is a labor-intensive process. It takes focus and time for the technician to complete the work efficiently and correctly. Things that can affect the outcome of the samples are the time-intensive. The process for manual bead extraction is a time-intensive process and requires a technician to devote time and resources to processing a plate of samples. It can be error-prone. The sample processing involves several steps with multiple pipetting of sample solutions. This can involve several technicians with various levels of pipette knowledge and technique. If a technician is interrupted during a step, they can easily lose their place or duplicate a step for the well, leading to rework or invalid results. It can be costly. The processing of samples can be spread over days with multiple technicians. If rework is required, the cost of the sample and kits increases the processing cost. So let us look at a common workflow here. So before you run a downstream application, you need to first purify your samples. The way you have chosen to do this is by paramagnetic bead purification, or Magbead. This is the method of adding magnetic beads to your samples and running them through several cleanup steps to remove unwanted materials from your samples. Once you have cleaned up and removed the extraneous materials, you can now run your downstream applications such as sequencing, next-gen sequencing or NGS or Sanger sequencing, genotyping, or cloning. Let us look at the PCR purification. You will see the sample cleanup, and you will see sample cleanup and PCR purification used interchangeably. But regardless of what you call it, it is still vital to NGS. I will go over a quick rundown of PCR cleanup using magnetic beads. The process begins with adding magnetic beads to your dirty sample. This will allow the DNA to bind to the beads. You will begin washing the sample and beads with your wash solution. This will remove the impurities in the sample. The wash liquid is removed from the sample and disposed of. Finally, after you have removed the impurities from your samples, you will add an elution buffer to remove the DNA from the beads. You now have a purified DNA sample that you can use in other protocols. Some of those protocols include gel purification, spin columns. Some other methods of purification include gel purification, spin column, or enzymatic digestion. But if your customer is interested in automation, paramagnetic beads, or mag beads, are the method used. Typical application workflow for PCR purification. To understand the process of PCR purification, let's break down the steps. You add mag beads to samples and mix several times to ensure the sample is homogenized. You incubate the sample for 5 minutes. You then apply a magnet to the bottom of the plate to pull down the magnetic beads. You then remove the supernatant from each well. You wash the beads with 70% ethanol and then pipetting up and down to mix. You apply a magnet to the bottom of the plate again to pull the magnetic beads down. You then remove the supernatant again from each sample well. You'll repeat this ethanol wash at least one more time. You're then going to allow your beads to dry, add an elution buffer to each well, mix, add the magnet again to the bottom of the plate to pull the beads down, and then remove the eluted sample from the wells and transfer to a new plate. So why choose automation? There are several reasons, and they include reproducibility. Automation provides a run-to-run consistency and reproducibility, thereby enabling verifiable science. Ease of use. Automated plate prep is ergonomic and requires minimal intervention from the researchers in the lab. Compatibility. Output material is ready to run on a bioanalyzer or feed into your downstream procedures in your lab or core facility. Flexibility. The script can be customized to match the required volumes, number of washes in your PCR cleanup procedure. Finally, reliability. Error-prone manual steps are automated for greater confidence and performance. Is your customer working with a kit or a verified method? That is not an issue for Gilson Pipetmax. We can adapt our programming to work with your workflow. The Pipetmax script is easily customizable to work with all kits. We have variables for volumes, wash cycles, incubations, and wait times. We have the flexibility to ensure that the protocol runs efficiently and correctly. In today's example of PCR cleanup, we are going to be using the Agincourt Ampure XP by Beckman Coulter. And this was recommended by Illumina and others for library prep protocols. Gilson offers technicians walk-away time while the protocol is running. During the design of the workflow, we build in on-bed incubations, liquid transfers, and the magnetic rack movements. Here is an example of a bed layout and the script you could look for in your protocol. On the picture here, you're going to see 3 racks of tips. You will have a plate with samples, a new plate, which will be your final destination for your purified sample, the magnetic rack for you to be able to do your cleanup, and then a reservoir with your solvents and ethanol and waste location. Here is a closer look at the magnetic bead rack and how it works. The left picture shows the rack itself. This is our actuated magnetic rack. The cord plugs into the Pipetmax, and when you program the protocol, you choose to raise or lower the scissors inside the unit. No need to waste tips or time moving the rack up and down. The middle picture is one of our magnetic rack plates we offer. This fits securely into the rack on the scissors lift. It moves up and down to either pellet or release the beads. Each of the round magnets sits between 4 wells on your plate. In the right picture, you can see how the magnets pull the beads to the inside well wall of the plate. This allows the pipette tips to reach the bottom of the well to remove all of the liquid. The list shown here is an example of flexibility we offer with custom software and protocols. All variables can be modified at the start of each run. For example, if you normally run 96 samples per each run, but your current run only has 30, edit the protocol, write in Trilution Micro, and the system will modify the protocol to meet the new parameter. Not sure what the variable is? Click on the eye icon next to it for a description. So once again, some of the optional variables that we can enter would be samples, number of samples to process, the bead volume to transfer, your sample volume, your wash steps, wash volume, or elution volume. So why choose to automate with Gilson Pipetmax? Automating a technically challenging task, save time with pre-programmed protocols, set up the bed, hit run on the computer, and walk away. A 96 well format allows multiple samples to be processed at once using our Max 8x200 head and our Max 8x20 microliter head. Process columns of samples in a single step. Gilson offers additional heads and accessories for the instrument as well. This allows the Pipetmax to be able to use for other work in addition to magnetic bead purification. Our small footprint, so you can automate your process without losing your entire bench to the instrument. The Pipetmax is small enough to fit on a standard lab bench or in a fume hood. Increase reproducibility between runs. Reduces variability you have with manual pipetting. Gilson Pipetmax uses our standard Gilson Diamond universal tips, so you can standardize your lab on one tip and avoid costly automation tips. Finally, Gilson does not limit customers to one brand of labware. With our ability to create files for plates and labware, we can work with the customer's existing labware. In summary, you can increase the efficiency in your lab. Customers can walk away during tedious procedure while maintaining high quality of sample integrity. Automation of PCR purification is a key step that has been requested by NGS core facilities. Let Pipetmax do the tedious task of purifying your sample so you can focus on the results. Thank you for your time, and I can now open it up to questions.
And while everyone is thinking and typing out their questions, I just want to share my screen for a quick moment and just let you know that most of the literature that was spoken about, or most of the things that we're talking about today, are in the literature, web links, as well as the video resources listed within their kiosk. And this talk will be on demand within 24 hours, so please let your colleagues know how much you enjoyed it. And I will hand it back and we'll see if there's any questions. Let's see. Can beads other than Ampere be used, such as Omega Biotech or Maggenome?
Yes, we can work with any kit that you're currently working with. So that just happened to be one that we've done some extensive internal testing and a demo on. So that happened to be the example that I picked for today's. So as long as the customers have an idea of what kit they want to use or a protocol that we can build their automation off of, we can use any brand, any style.
What
And there's a
is the
question.
lead time?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna say,
sorry,
there's
go
a
ahead.
question about lead time, but I don't know if that might need to be a little bit more specific.
I'll defer that to the sales team.
Do you need to use specific labware with PMax? Does the system work with tubes, 96 and 384 well plates?
You are not required to have specific labware. So you can use all three of those. So tubes, 384s, and 96 wells. We just need it to be a SBS or a 96 well plate format size. So with our software, we do have the ability that if we don't already have a labware file, we can actually create one for the software, for the labware you do want to use. So we've had customers use everything from single well plates to 6 to 24 to 384. So 384 would be the smallest that we'd be able to go down to, but we can definitely go up from there. And tubes, we have a height limit of 90 millimeters, but other than that, we have racks to fit a variety of different tube sizes.
Does the PMax fit into a fume hood?
A standard size fume hood, yes. It would look a little different than the one that was pictured on the presentation, because we would have to remove the plastic hood that's on the Pipetmax, but your fume hood would take the fume hood door would actually take the place of the safety mechanism on that. So as long as it's a standardized fume hood, yes, it would fit in there.
Can you use 96 well semi-skirt plates as well as 96 full well skirt plates?
Yes. So we do have adapters to be able to hold everything from skirtless all the way to fully skirted plates. So fully skirted would fit right directly on to the bed. Your semi-skirted and skirtless would actually just have an adapter that they would sit into.
Does the PMax require specific automation tips?
It does not. It uses our standard universal diamond tips. So if you are looking to avoid automation tips because they are costly, this is a great option for you because it uses just our regular pipette tips. A lot of our PMax customers have actually just standardized their lab and pipettes across the board, and they have diamond tips all the way through. So that way they can actually pull from one to the other if the need should arise.
Does it come loaded with this protocol?
All of the protocols are actually customized to the customer's desire. It does come with two customized programs with each purchase. Although the software does come with what we call assistance, and that's for qPCR as well as normalization pre-built into the program. So all it is kind of a plug and play. You fill in the variables and the information as you go through the screens, and it builds the program right away for you.
Anyone else have any other questions? Not hearing anything. Oh, we got it. Oh, okay. Thanks. All right. So thank you very much, Kelly, for joining us. And if you don't have any more questions or tidbits, we'll go ahead and close out.
I don't, but I'm always available for questions. If the sales team ever should think of any, feel free to email me. I'm happy to help out.
Awesome. Thank you very
Thanks
much
so
for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great weekend.